Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about two of the most debilitating bugs for Halo 3 MCC in terms of Forge for map making and content creation. So as an example, I'll place down two wall doubles, I'll set it to phased, and I'll use the coordinate system to lock it into place. When I use the coordinate system, you can see that it randomly rotated slightly, but if I grab it, it'll reset to its correct position. This is kind of weird, but I usually just grab objects and reset them by dropping them and grabbing them again after I've set them to the correct coordinates. So if I set another wall, as you can see, it jumps out of place again using the coordinates, but by grabbing it again, it'll reset to the correct place. And I'll just merge these slightly so the effect is quite obvious. So if I place these two walls as a walkway, which most people would do in a map design, you can see that they're completely seamless, they're flat together, there's no bump or anything. So this would be great for on a map creating a walkway. There's no change in height between the two of them. So if I save this now and end game.
Game over.
What you'll see is there's a rotation between the two objects. We'll go back into the same map. As you can see, the two objects have now rotated out of place. Just from saving and re-entering the map. Now if I walk across this bump, I get launched into the air. I can't maintain my aim or my strafe while going over this bump. And it basically breaks most maps when you're trying to design walkways or bases or anything with a flat surface. And this applies to all objects. I've tested it with many different objects and I get the same kind of rotations between them. Now if I grab these without rotation locking on, you can see the Y rotation is out by 0.7 degrees. Before, this glitch wasn't able to be seen in terms of rotation angle because we didn't have these quality of life improvements, which I really appreciate. New features and quality of life improvements that MCC Halo 3 Forge has received from 343. However, I feel like these efforts have been negated when the objects rotate out of place after you save the map. And it's pretty consistent. I mean, this object is also rotated out of place by 0.7 degrees. So this is kind of game breaking in terms of map creation, and it stunts the growth of the community in that respect. Now I've just put together a little test here before, so I set all of these objects, these wall doubles, to be 15 degrees increments and rotated it from -90 to 90. And these wall doubles are set in 10 degree increments from -90 to completely vertical. So if I check these angles now, this is the one set to 90. You can see that the yaw is out of place by 0.7. This one's set to 75. Yaw, again, out by 0.7. This one was set to 60, and the yaw is out by 0.7. But the roll is also out by 0.1 in terms of 30 degree increments. At 45 degrees, yaw again is out by 0.7. 30 degrees, 0.7, and 0.1 in the other direction for 30 degrees. 0.7 again in the yaw for 15 degrees. And they're completely vertical. Everything's fine. Now for positive values. Yaw is out by 0.7 degrees. At 30, yaw is out by 0.7, roll is out by 0.1. At 45 degrees, yaw again is out by 0.7, and roll is out by none. Awesome. At 60 degrees, roll is out by 0.1 and yaw is out by 0.7, same as the negative values. At 75 degrees, yaw is out by 0.7 and roll is out by 0. And completely flat, we'll see as the same example as before, 0.7 degrees and yaw and roll isn't out at all. So this is for 15 degree increments. Excuse me. So for ramps and things like that, these are affected. Walkways are affected by quite a significant amount of flat degrees, flat surfaces. At 10 degree intervals, I mean, we've seen flat is 0.7 for the yaw. At 10, roll is out by quite a large amount, 0.6, and yaw is out by 0.7. At 70, 0.7 again for yaw, roll is out by 0.1. For 60, 0.7 for yaw, roll 0.1. For 50, 0.7 and 0.1 for the roll. 40 was 0.1 and yaw 0.7. 30 we saw again 0.7 for the yaw, 0.1 for the roll. At 20, 0.7 for the yaw, 1.1 for the roll. At 10, 0.2 for the roll and 0.7 for the yaw once again. Yaw seems pretty consistent at 0.7. I'm not sure why it's this value, but it is. And at 0, all the values are floored to 0. So I'm not suggesting that the values for the yaw should be floored to integer values, because this could cause issues elsewhere within the game. I'm not sure if this could be implemented as a quick fix or a hot fix, but it's just definitely a place to start. This rotation glitch is reproducible and consistent across all angles, so I really feel like it should be investigated and hopefully addressed in an upcoming patch. Another problem that we have with Forge at the moment is, as you can see up here, a guy called Folk Smash put this map together. This is all of the default objects on the sandbox map. He hasn't deleted them, he's organized them, because there is an object limit of 650 objects on the Forge map. However, if you delete these objects, you lose them forever. They don't count towards the total object limit. So when you build a map, you have to recycle these into your map wherever you can, wherever is possible. This is difficult to keep track of because obviously you can't see which objects are default and which ones are new ones that you have placed. And there is no counter for objects placed. So once you hit the 650 object limit, it's kind of game over. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen at some point. It makes building in the skybox very difficult because you run out of objects building the floor or walls or roof of your map. And on the floor here, if you want to put walls or a ceiling over your map, especially for 4v4 maps, which Halo 3 is kind of geared towards. I feel like having the extra budget and the extra object limit for each individual object is great for Forge, but without an object limit total being increased, this is kind of irrelevant. Additional quality of life improvements that aren't necessarily essential but would be nice. If I set this to rotation snap to 90 once again. Small things like the center of the map not being at 0, 0, 0 is kind of strange. I'm kind of off there. It's at 9.5, 9.6. I'm not really sure exactly what. That looks about central. 9.5 and -2 in the width. This would be nice if it was just centered to 0, 0. Obviously, for building symmetrical maps, it would make the math a lot easier. Also, having objects set when you spawn them, they're set to normal. Having the physics set to phased as default, which most people would probably want for when they're designing their maps and things, would be really great. And it would also make modifying maps from previous builds from the Xbox 360 a lot easier, because when you grab the objects, obviously they're all set to default and they're difficult. You have to basically set them all back to phased if you want to edit that map. So yeah, the random rotation thing is something that I feel really needs to be addressed in an upcoming patch, and hopefully will be, and same as the object limit on the Forge map. So thanks very much for listening. I really hope 343 sees this. If you could spread it around as much as possible, the Halo community would really appreciate it. My name's Hunter117. You guys might know me from Twitch. And thanks very much for listening. I appreciate it.